Welcome again, weary travelers, to the Adventures of the Lazy. I'm your guide, Miss Katz, and I am here today with my co-host, Miss Ray.
Salutations.
Hello, girl. How are you doing today?
Doing great.
You're looking absolutely radiant.
Oh, yes. I'm really done up. Let's give you a visual. I am dressed for business. Always suit attire. Yeah.
Okay.
Sarcasm, my friend. I'm in the home with my sweats and my yoga pants and my lazy hoodie.
There you go. That's what I'm on right now.
It may or may not have a stain on it.
This is episode 2, The Adventure of the Lazy Inventions. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
Today's daily story is Canwich. And I did say canwich with a C, like cats. Canwich. Canwich is a canned food product that simulates eating a sandwich. The creator, Mark, claims he came up with this idea for Canwich when he was drinking a can of soda while eating a cookie and thought, hey, could I sell cookies in a can out of a vending machine? The current flavors that are available right now are peanut butter and jelly and barbecue chicken out of a can. And those are sandwiches. And the product is supposedly good for a year.
Oh, that's telling a lot about the preservatives, my dear. In a can, peanut butter and jelly, I'm going to just take you all the way back in the Wayback Machine, whoop, 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 to my elementary school days where we had the lunch box that was made of plastic. You open it up, you had like the matching thermos. Do you recall? And it may or may not have a princess or transformer on the box.
That was not in my time. But continue.
Okay, stop age shaming me, my dear.
Listen, don't get me started on the milk bag. I know somebody out there who had a milk bag when they went to school.
Someone brought that up. Someone brought that up recently, and I was like, oh, two people with milk bags at school. We had what we called cartons. They were made of cardboard, and you had to have a talent at opening them. We had nimble fingers to open those bitches.
But let's refocus back on
the
Canwich.
Canwich. So when I was in elementary school, recently, they had, you'd pack, my mom or dad would pack a peanut butter and jelly, delicious sandwich on white bread, and they would cut it diagonal. This is important for some reason. And they would put it in a sandwich bag and pack it in my lunch. And by midday, there was no refrigeration at school. So you'd open that lunch pail and pull out the sandwich, and it would always be soggy because of the said jelly seeping through the bread. I'm imagining a canned sandwich of peanut butter and jelly would be soggy and awkwardly warm if it's inside of a lovely vending machine. So I'm only going to go ahead and assume that a barbecue chicken sandwich the bread's just going to be it's going to be a soggy mess.
I would say so. And, I love peanut butter and jelly myself, but out of a can? I mean, it always makes me think of, did you see that article about the McDonald's sandwich that was left in someone's, closet or something for 10 years, and he pulled it out and it was still looking like a McDonald's cheeseburger?
Yes. I don't know if you've ever been in a friend's car and they were like, hey, sit in the back, or they had kids, and so if you could climb in the back of my minivan, and you find that French fry that's probably, they're like, well, we haven't been to McDonald's since before the new year, and it looks like it could have been.
And it's like, if you're going to serve me a canned sandwich, I feel like if the McDonald's sandwich over 10 years still look the same and that's in a paper wrapper, this Canwich is going to survive till World War 89 underneath the fucking alien spaceship that has landed on Earth, and there's still a canned sandwich that is good that you could probably still eat.
Pop that bitch out of there. It's like a MRE or whatever, the
Army.
The
military, for sure.
Well, you know what? I have had some time in Hawaii where the food of choice there would be delicious spiced ham, aka Spam, in a can. And if you dare speak against Spam, you're just going to be ousted from the island. So, they love their canned meat. So I'm assuming a canned sandwich might go a long way.
I just can't get down with it. The whole concept kind of freaks me out, to be honest.
Right, well,
and I'm not really a messy eater. And I feel like if this Canwich is coming out of a vending machine, and you've used vending machines before, right? You put your coins in, ching, ching, ching. You hit the button. It starts slow crank. And then finally, it doesn't quite drop. Not quite yet. You got to kind of punch it or shake it a little bit, and then it drops. Yes. In my mind, when it drops and hits the bottom of the vending machine, you have now splattered my peanut butter and my jelly against the side of that can, because it's not going to stay together if it's a sandwich in a can. Once it hits, you're basically making that the messiest sandwich you can imagine in my brain.
Is he doing a sleeping bag roll of the sandwich and tucking it in like a poster?
There wasn't much detail.
We need pictures. I need charts and graphs with a pointer stick.
Girl, I'm lazy. I did not use that much detail.
We are ordering. Let's get on Amazon.com.
This topic, but I'm just thinking no, me as a clean, organized eater, I cannot have a smashed sandwich that has now fallen from the vending machine and think I'm going to open that can and be like, oh, this is cool.
This is great.
Let's do this.
This is finger food. I imagine at that point you need a straw.
Or a fork. Does it come with a fork or, a spoon? So I'm going to need a spoon to really scrape those sides because, my inner fat girl, I'm not going to leave anything behind. So if there is some peanut butter and jelly on the sides of that can, I'm going to need to be scraping that. Like, I'm not going to be sticking my hand in the can now and trying to, get the edges.
It was supposed to remove work, and it's provided further steps for us. It's increased our workload.
I'm not going to lie. I have fisted a can of Nutella before because I had to make sure I got every ounce of that Nutella.
Let's just pause for a second. This is important.
But I'm not going to do that with a can from a vending machine. I feel like Nutella is a tad bit more classy.
Excuse me.
And I was alone in that moment. I wasn't out in the world with a can,
Mm-hmm. Yes, I see how you're trying to jump on over what you just said. But you fisted a can of Nutella.
Listen, there's somebody out there who is also, you love Nutella. And you got to make sure you get every ounce of that Nutella out the bottom of that jar. So you sometimes have to stick your hand in there and just start swirling it around the edges. And then your whole hand comes out covered in Nutella. And then you make sure nobody's looking.
Yes.
And you just make sure you get it all off.
Well, I mean, if they're going to look, they're going to look.
No, you got to hide that.
Or you let them look. But
no, you do it at home where if you have to hide, you can hide in the bathroom.
In your sorrow and depression and despair.
It's not sorrow and depression. In that moment, I'm the happiest girl in the world. I'm that little girl at the fair who just got cotton candy and someone said, here you go, little girl. I'm like, yay, give me that Nutella because I want to eat all of it. It's so addicting. Like, you have no shame in it.
Yes, but a soggy PBJ sandwich can.
Addicts don't have shame. If you give them heroin, they're going to shoot up right now.
Yes.
Because they don't care. There's no shame in it. Nutella is basically my heroin. I'm going to eat it any way I can. If I have to cut the jar open to get every last drop, I will do so.
I can't judge you. I cannot judge you. I don't hate
it,
and I cannot judge you. But a can of sandwich...
Not so great, right?
Circle and a square peg or whatever they call it. Square peg and a circle hole. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's yet to be decided. We'll have to sample it.
I will not be doing that.
We can't review it and not sample it. I'm going to sample. I will be on a mission to eat the PBJ out of a can. You
go for it, girl. You be on your own. I am not a team player in this moment.
Okay.
But in my rabbit trail of looking for Inventions, I came across battery-operated electric scissors. Think about that.
Let me explain something. Sometimes your thumb is tired.
No. No, and here's why. I'm going to tell you
an argument. Hear me out.
Okay.
Your nimble fingers have been at work. You've been typing for your appointments all day, and it's arts and crafts time with the kids, and you're not feeling it, but you got them electronic skizzers, and you're ready to go.
I'm going to tell you right now, my pride says no, and I'm going to tell you why.
Let's hear it.
Because my little 6-year-old kindergarten ass was like, Miss Jones, this is a motor skill that I have to learn or I can't pass and go to the first grade? You're going to tell me that if I don't learn how to use scissors, Miss Jones, that I don't have motor function in my hands and therefore I have to stay here with you?
See, this is where we differ.
No, Miss Jones. No, Miss Jones.
This is where we differ.
No, I'd be like, Miss Jones, there's going to be an app for that in 10 years, so why do I got to learn? I can have weak hands. I can go through life with weak hands, No.
I'm going to put a sandwich in a can in the future, Mrs. Jones. Do not tell me I need to have nimble fingers to cut. I'm a lefty, so let me explain something. Us lefties, we never had scissors at work. You go throughout your classes. I don't know what it's like now. I'm sure there's equal rights for lefties in all the elementary school classrooms and art class. But when I was little, my left hand and those right-handed scissors was not doing it, and I was trying to switch it around, and it looked like I was junk cutting. There was never a straight line. It was jagged edges.
We get this girl tested right now.
But if you would have given my ass a delectable pair of electronic scissors,
But think about how weak your hands would be today.
We're just evening the curve and all that,
No.
bringing me up.
If your hands were that weak today because you did not prep and prepare as a kindergartner, you would not be able to pick up your phone and text.
I think texting has a strength.
You would not be able to open a door.
I could open a door. Listen, we can argue about this, but I'm going to be for the lazy scissors because lefties.
No. Don't get me wrong. Now as an adult, I would love to have operated scissors that'll do it for me because I already have the muscle skills in my hand to do it myself.
What's the off button? I mean, these scissors. What if you're done cutting, but they didn't know? And is there like an easy button?
I don't know. As I said, I did lazy research.
Of course. Let's just
you expect
assume
a lot
things,
of me,
right? No, lazy's the theme here. We're just gonna make shit up as we go when we get past what we've already known. But yeah, I do. I see where you're coming from, but for me, I'm like, hey, the lazier, the better better when it comes to craft time. Because honestly, last thing, I don't know if you've ever been doing things like just wrapping presents. You got to cut through that.
I love wrapping gifts.
Yeah, but when I'm trying to cut the wrapping paper, I'm just trying to get where that you find that perfect spot where the paper slips perfectly between the V shape of the scissors and cuts. You don't even have to move your fingers to cut it.
Girl, this is 2021. There are lines on the back of wrapping paper these days where you can just follow that line.
Girl, I'm too lazy to find that line. What are you talking about? You're steps ahead. This one, she did really good in school. I'm back to where you're just kind of, you're just trying to get that flow going where it just cuts without the scissor maneuver.
Like somehow her line always turns out jagged. We don't know what she's doing or what she's looking at.
Lefty.
But it's always jagged.
Okay.
And another wonderful invention that I found on this trail was the automatic dog ball thrower.
I've seen that. I've seen it used.
I know we've all seen that. If you live near a dog park, you have seen it happen. But my thoughts are, like, isn't it supposed to be a bonding time between you and your dog?
Now, I'm a jock. I played sports my entire life. I'm a very, very tall female, so I've been, it was in my blood. I played sports. So if you could not throw a decent ball for your dog to chase, he's not going to judge you if it's kind of sidearm. If it's a little sidearm, he's not like, no, redo, Rebecca. But I think if you have one of those dogs that are kind of like me, a little ADHD and need you to keep throwing
all
the
the
ball.
small ones.
Yes,
all the ankle biters out there.
They're right back with that ball and they want to throw it again. And you're like, gosh, Harold, gosh, Vital, and you're just rethrowing. That might come in handy so that you can kind of just still be on your phone app doing worthless things while you're throwing the ball.
Ignoring your dog when it's supposed to be your best friend.
He's your friend, but he's got to share some of the attention. Dogs they're loyal, but they want you to be as loyal as they are, right?
But they're very loyal. They're coming back to you every time with this ball that you're not even taking the time to put in your own hand and throw back for them.
Look, we don't even give our own nanas enough eye contact throughout the day. We're not there anymore.
That's because Nana's cross-eyed and I can't tell if she's looking at me or not.
Okay, we're not talking about your nana cats.
Okay.
We're talking about everybody's nanas in general.
I'm trying to be, respectful because I got good morals. And I'm like, I don't know if Nana's looking at me, but I want to keep bebopping around to see if she's looking at me or not. So I'm just not going to look at her.
Poor Nana.
Okay, I'll talk to her though.
I'm going to tell her not to listen to this episode. Listen, sometimes dogs expect higher things from us. And I'm saying the lazy man's
No, that's very true. Dogs are loyal and they expect high things from their owners. So we should give that back to them in the form of picking up a ball and throwing it with your hand.
Now, you think about it, when I come back, picking it up. That's a task.
Like when they bring it back and drop it to you, you should pick it up with your own hand so they can smell your own pheromones coming off your hand, and then you throw it, and
pheromones,
and then they bring it back. It's the natural way of things. It's the way it was meant to be.
Or if you have to walk your dog 3 times a day and he always insists on bringing that special tennis ball, maybe it's okay to do this. I'm with the lazy throw.
Okay.
I support it. I see the purpose. You don't want to get sciatica from leaning over and picking up the ball every time your little miniature poodle.
I see a lot of people with underdeveloped rotator cuffs is what I see. I mean, if you're not going to use it, you're going to lose it, right?
This is true. But hey, if we're going to get on that... We're going to get on use it or lose it. Let's talk. I had a question because we're talking about inventions, like the lazy man inventions. I'm thinking like, what are some inventions that have made us more lazy? And immediately we think what? Like smartphone, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Whose numbers do you have memorized?
My mama's.
Okay.
My papa's.
Okay.
My best friend.
You have it memorized?
I do.
So that's 3.
3. That's about
I
it.
doubt you.
That's all I need to know. An emergency. You going to call. Not Ghostbusters.
You don't know my number, do you?
I know the last 3 digits.
See, that just got. See, okay, so my point
Siri
is,
will fill in the rest. I say Siri.
Okay,
what's Ray's number, and she'll say.
But your phone's dead, and our grid's down, and all that fun stuff. My point is, when I was young, when I was 5, when I was 6, I knew my mama's number, my dad's number. I knew the home numbers. As far as knowing numbers today, I still remember my mom's because she has not changed that in a motherfucking decade. But as far as anybody else's, I just don't know it.
All right. Well, we can't all be all stars like you. Okay, like you said, you're an athlete out there.
GPS, you don't know directions. I guarantee
we can't
that was an invention.
all be all stars like you, darling. We can't all be
Rideshare, Uber.
Yeah,
that's an invention that's made me lazy. Segways, people just stand on things and it takes them places. I could go all day.
I know you can,
but I won't.
But as always, our journey has to end eventually today, and I hope that you enjoyed once again this ride with me down this bumpy ass road.
I feel even more lazy than I was at the beginning.
That's always my goal. I achieved it. Bam. I should get a bonus.
Ron things.
And to our listeners, as always, we hope you enjoyed the journey that you had with us today. Remember to stay off the beaten path, and hey,
do less.
Do less.
Less.